Through our hidden surveillance cameras, we are about to witness actual true stories unfold, documenting the raw pain of a partner crushed by heartbreaking infidelity. This show is dedicated to the faithful and presented to the false-hearted, to encourage a quick return to honesty and virtue. Coming up on this explosive new episode, our team tracks them down at a concert. Who the fuck are you? What is a sign spinner actually doing for you? Real reality television is brought to you by the dedicated private eyes at Cheaters. Welcome back to another dramatic episode of Real Reality Television right here. Tonight, let us follow Nicholas Booth's story as he shares his heavy burden. Disturbed by the total lack of intimacy with his girlfriend, Nicholas came to us with deep fears and questions. Ava worked as a barista at a coffee shop just down the block. He watched her for about 2 months while she was still a brand new hire. Nicholas was pretty shy, but he finally took his shot. Sadly, while she was on the clock, she completely turned him down cold. Later on, he ran into her outside of work at a store. He tried his luck one more time and was honestly pretty surprised by it. He told a cheesy joke she actually laughed and finally said yes. They went to a local park, and that is exactly how their whole relationship kicked off. He genuinely thought she was a warm person. People are naturally drawn to her bright energy no matter what. Nicholas easily found himself becoming one of those exact people. Ava Calloway, 22 years old, an insurance agent collecting premiums but denying the actual benefits. Our team deploys a squad of investigators to watch the apartment complex of our main suspect, Ava Calloway. Later that day, detectives spot Calloway heading straight for her vehicle. The woman leaves in a giant hat with an investigator right behind her. Our private eye tails the suspect to an unknown apartment building. Calloway unknowingly enters the apartment building. Meanwhile, 7 months into their new relationship, Nicholas had surprised Ava with a shiny new key, begging her to move in. She was not interested in settling down with him at all. The tension began to build. It was never a loud confrontation, but it became a dragged-out disagreement. The more Nicholas pressed the hard issue, the more it aggravated her. He had never seen her act so completely cold. The turning point hit hard. She used to stay over every single weekend, but after that, her visits dropped to just 1 weekend a month. And honestly, whenever she actually did show up, they were constantly arguing or text fighting. If he could take it back, Nicholas never would have asked her to move in. If he had known it would turn into this awful nightmare, he never would have asked her. Here we are. He is just talking to us. He feels like he is going crazy. Their entire sex life shifted. Right off the bat, things got way less frequent between the two. Let's listen as Nicholas explains his doubts. To him, their intimacy felt entirely casual, almost like an afterthought. He sighed heavily. He admitted the distance fooled him. Romance shouldn't ever feel this incredibly empty. Their love didn't used to be this cold, but that was exactly their reality now. Intimacy still happened occasionally, but Nicholas felt it had become nothing more than a dreadful chore. Later, investigators spy Ava having drinks on a balcony with an unidentified young man. Sometime later, suspect Calloway leaves the area and returns home for the night. If his girlfriend cheated emotionally or physically, if she even dared to kiss another man behind his back, he insisted their relationship was completely over. Nicholas knew he wasn't completely flawless, but he sacrificed a lot for her happiness, and he definitely wanted to confront whoever this mysterious pathetic clown actually was meeting him directly face to face. He just couldn't comprehend how people could act with such betrayal. Deceit simply was not in his DNA. He proudly maintained he wasn't raised that way. And if she truly was that toxic sort of person, alongside her mysterious new lover, he absolutely did not need those kinds of toxic people in his life anymore. He felt deeply that she owed him a truthful explanation. You and I join investigators staking out suspect Calloway's residence. They spot the sprightly young lady casually leaving her apartment. Followed closely by a mobile unit, the suspect navigates back to that exact same apartment parking lot she was spotted visiting much earlier. Investigators spot the suspect on the same balcony from previous surveillance recordings. The suspect's male consort, who brings her another round of drinks, is identified as Giovanni Jackson once her illicit happy hour concludes. Miss Calloway drives away completely unaware of the seasoned detective hot on her trail. Suspect Calloway drives straight home, sticking to the plan. Cheaters investigators relentlessly continue the stakeout at the suspect's residence. Suspect Calloway soon enters her vehicle and leaves home, tailed by a cheaters unit. Calloway drives to a local restaurant where she eagerly meets up with Jackson. The deceitful duo grabs a patio table and proceeds to enjoy a rather sumptuous meal together. After some time, Calloway and her secret consort Jackson finish dining. Grabbing their takeout boxes, the cheating suspect passionately kisses her paramour. Calloway returns to her car and drives home, foolishly thinking her dark deceit remains hidden. Cheaters prepares to enlighten a completely devastated Nicholas. After the break, the dramatic confrontation. Now that Cheaters has definitively confirmed the suspect's blatant infidelity, a quick call goes out to arrange a meeting with Nicholas. Anxious to finally confirm his girlfriend's suspected betrayal, Nicholas braces himself for the worst. Let's watch the host step up to deliver the hard truth. Let's watch this unfold. The host knew bringing him in would trigger heavy emotions. It was incredibly difficult. This was truly the worst-case scenario for any partner. The host asked if Nicholas was ready for the surveillance footage their private detectives captured. Was he mentally prepared to see it? Nicholas hesitated, stumbling over his words in that moment. He just wanted to rip the Band-Aid off and get the pain over with. He desperately needed the truth. The host agreed. The tape rolled. The footage began with the lead detective stationed right outside of Ava's apartment. Sometime later, she got into her car and drove away, while the team followed close behind. Driving a black sedan, she arrived at another apartment complex and confidently walked right inside. They soon spotted her with another man, enjoying drinks on the balcony. The host asked if Nicholas recognized this guy. Nicholas admitted he had actually seen the guy somewhere before. He didn't know his name, but the face was familiar. It was definitely a familiar face to him. The host pointed out her outfit as she walked into the other man's apartment. It was incredibly revealing. A very skimpy dress for a casual daytime visit. Nicholas revealed he bought that dress for her. An absolutely crushing, crazy detail. The pair continued on the balcony, eventually holding each other's hands. They walked inside together, and a few agonizing hours later, she finally left. The host asked how Nicholas was feeling now. He was definitely not doing well. It was agonizing. He could feel things were only going to get worse. Let's watch the next day of this private investigation. The team was stationed outside Ava's house. They watched her walk straight to her vehicle. She got inside, slammed the door, and drove off quickly. The detectives followed her down a residential street, back to the exact same apartment building from the day prior. She marched right into the same building. That was when they spotted her outside on the balcony once again, talking to that man. Suddenly, Nicholas realized exactly where he knew him from. It was the guy from her job. He was the local sign spinner. Unbelievable. Clearly, he had been spinning a little bit more than just signs with his girlfriend. On the screen, they watched Ava pull her cell phone from her pocket. She was receiving an incoming phone call. The host reminded Nicholas about the recording software they had secretly installed on his cell phone. The audio played one of his own phone calls to see if he recalled the tense conversation. The tape started with his casual greeting. Ava answered, claiming she was just out hanging with a friend right then. Nicholas asked what was happening, reminding her he just flew in. She claimed it was on her calendar. You and I can hear her making a weak excuse about a missed phone notification. He tried to calm her down, explaining he had just flown in. She claimed she only missed him, and he echoed the sentiment back. Still, she complained about his long trip and how long he vanished. He defended his personal reasons, reminding her that it was his actual career. She dismissed it entirely, abruptly ending the call with a cold, "whatever." Let's pause here. To her, his entire life was just a whatever. The devastated client explained he had just flown back from Florida exactly as scheduled. He was visibly frustrated, struggling to find the right words for the betrayal. He confessed he felt like a total fool which the investigator completely understood. The host reassured the man that he had absolutely no reason to feel stupid. They needed to push through the immediate pain and secure the hard proof he wanted. It was time to rip off the Band-Aid, expose the truth, and finally begin healing. Meanwhile, after tossing back a few drinks, the suspect slipped back inside the building. She eventually returned home again, leaving the anxious client demanding their exact location. He stammered, completely overwhelmed by the unfolding nightmare. The host knew they had seen enough. The investigator finally suggested they pack up the gear and get out of there. They immediately hit the road, tracking the cheating couple down to a live concert venue nearby. Spotting their lead detective, the host ordered everyone outside. They moved fast. Chaos erupted immediately as the rivals started cursing, demanding to know who they were. Someone yelled to stop. Stop. The security team desperately restored order. He spotted Ava. He begged for just a second of her time. He insisted he only wanted to talk. She pointed back. Insults flew as they traded harsh, sarcastic jabs. She told him to back off defending her new lover without any hesitation. Things escalated fast. He openly mocked her cheap outfit, offering to pay. She called his dramatic behavior extra, accusing him of totally overreacting. After trading bitter insults, the host stepped in, asking the other guy what just happened. The stunned rival demanded to know what was happening. Carl Gable announced the show. The guy admitted the betrayal. The host calmly explained the television crew was there strictly to expose his affair with Ava. The rival brushed it off, swearing he did not care about any of it. You won't believe the final conclusion. The couple attended a concert. Tensions flared again as the other man aggressively demanded everyone back off. He shrugged off his own terrible behavior. He mocked the whole situation. He ordered them to back off. Let's unpack this together. The furious boyfriend demanded to know what a sign spinner provided her. Totally bewildered, he started screaming to find out what was happening. He aggressively ordered the camera crew away. The host calmly explained he simply needed his side of the story for the reality show. Things escalated quickly as his shirt dropped. The host casually greeted him, asking if he was willing to just listen. He offered a choice: face the angry boyfriend or stay cool and talk to the cameras. He loudly insisted she wasn't his girlfriend. The outraged boyfriend challenged the guy, demanding that the cheating girlfriend explain what was actually going on. The host smirked, asking if he didn't appreciate his brand new friends. The guy ordered him away, but the host insisted he check out the evidence. The side piece explained that they had first met while out. He claimed she confessed her main guy was doing her completely dirty. He weakly tried to justify his own reaction. He had advised her to leave that guy and call him instead. The host clarified the timeline, asking if she had lied about them not being together anymore. The other guy swore he had absolutely no idea they were still a couple. From what he had personally witnessed, he genuinely believed that she was completely single and romantically available. The boyfriend confronted her, but she defensively asked what they even had to discuss. She coldly insisted there was absolutely nothing. She stubbornly repeated that they had nothing to talk about. Let's check the facts. He accused her and offered to show evidence. He asked about those past dates. The footage showed them meeting outside. The host verified his exact identity. The side piece admitted it was him. He passionately repeated that he knew absolutely nothing about her having a steady boyfriend. The host suggested they go explain that directly to her actual boyfriend. He demanded that she finally speak. He waited for her vocal answer. He repeatedly shouted at her, demanding to know what she was really thinking. He aggressively pushed for real answers. He demanded her cheating friend's location. The other man frantically searched for his buddy. The production crew prepared to show her the highly damning video evidence. He asked if he was getting played, while she acted completely and utterly dismissive. He insisted Nicholas was completely innocent. Nicholas explicitly stated that the cheating girl claimed to be totally single. The boyfriend finally realized she had confidently lied about being completely single, a total fraud. He loudly called out her massive deception again. Suddenly, panicked voices yelled to take cover. Complete chaos broke out as everyone ducked. So what do we think? She definitely played them both for absolute fools. She shouted about her back piece. Insults started flying. The host begged to speak with her. He asked if it was worth it and what happened. He demanded to know why she would ever tell her man. He wondered why she didn't just confess from the very beginning. The cameras caught it all. They were absolutely beating the living daylights out of each other. She shouted that this wasn't a game. She insisted it was for her, then asked Ava one question. Hey, she angrily asked why everyone was spying. The crew explained Nick hired them because she refused to give any real answers. She scoffed that her partner hired a whole camera crew when he could have just asked her directly. She complained she hated this setup. The host asked if she cheated because he played video games or made her feel invisible. She stumbled over her poor excuses. She accused them of lying. The host pointed out that feeling invisible had absolutely nothing to do with money. He pressed her further, asking why she didn't just put her complaints aside and try to actually communicate with him. She fired back, demanding to know why he didn't try to communicate with her first instead. The investigator noted he heard the phone call. He arrived just in time. She snarked about him doing his usual routine. The angry guy threatened to smash the crew's camera. Let's ask ourselves, is it true that once a cheater, always a cheater? Move. Nick told everyone to grab their gear and leave. She dismissed them. The crew began loading their heavy equipment. The producer politely asked everyone to pack up. The furious lover demanded to know where Nick was yelling that the whole crew should leave. They headed out together. He questioned why the crew remained there. The host noticed a younger guy nearby and stated the turbulent confrontation was finally over. The suspect yelled at the young guy to get out, screaming the whole situation was entirely finished. He taunted the stranger to go see if she wanted him next. After the explosive confrontation concluded, Nicholas took time to plan his next immediate move. As the episode wraps up, the show details exactly what Nicholas decides to do moving forward. But next, Jerry, a past suspect from an archived case, shares his side. He came forward to explain what really happened the night the camera crew busted him. Jerry admitted the violence didn't surprise him at all. He always knew getting caught meant fireworks. He knew it would be a huge mess, but he was completely shocked by the massive scene. The flashing cameras and all the wild commotion afterward completely caught him off guard. You and I would probably agree, dealing with the cops made it an absolute nightmare of a night. He realized it just wasn't his night. They found a place to sit, but he already knew she'd get violent when she called, especially after that late-night call from the hot tub, wearing nothing but a towel. You and I both know he saw right through all her paranoid, cheating thoughts. He fiercely yelled that she was his girl. His voice broke with rage. He just kept repeating himself. The brutal betrayal consumed him. He demanded to know how they could hide this dirty secret. He ordered him up. He reminded Mama Sheila they had been together for years. Let's look at this closely. To him, it just felt completely normal. After dating somebody so long, he got too comfortable, deeply set in his daily routine. His relationship just got a little boring. He wouldn't say boring exactly, but he claimed he desperately needed a spark. He was out grabbing drinks at a local bar and met another young woman. He assumed it wouldn't turn into a real affair. They just swapped phone numbers. Since he was still in college, he'd sneak off campus and give her a call. She'd always tell him to come over. He'd pick her up and chill at the park. She was young and fun. She felt like a breath of fresh air compared to the relentless nagging at home. He claimed he just needed some space. We've all heard that one before. His girlfriend had been relentlessly questioning him, begging for the truth. He denied harassing her at all. He screamed she pushed things this far just so he could expose her. He kept yelling that he was going to shove the ugly truth right in her face. He needed her to understand that he knew all of her secrets. All right. The investigator asked if she ever gave him a chance to come clean beforehand. Let's look back a couple of weeks. She had apparently asked him weeks ago if he had been doing anything shady behind her back. He shot back, asking who would actually confess if their wife asked about an affair. If she asked directly, would he actually confess? After the explosive altercation, He barely spoke to his little side piece ever again. He figured it simply scared her away. But as for Sheila, they remained cool, chatting occasionally. But the romantic relationship was completely over for good. You and I know life happens. For him, this was a massive reality check. He realized anyone could get caught. Everyone knows that. He warned that nobody is truly getting away with their dirty little secrets. Whatever happens in the dark will always find its way into the light. That was exactly how he got caught and how his double life collapsed around him. He finally knew he wasn't nearly as slick as he thought. He remained furious over his girlfriend's total lack of empathy and basic understanding of adulthood. Nicholas Booth completely cuts all contact with the suspect. Speaking candidly to our cheaters producers, Nicholas says, "I don't really care what she does now. If that clown wants her, he can have her. Then she'll see what kind of life a sign spinner can afford." The suspect, Ava Calloway, doesn't have much to add to the case. She claims to have left our client and is actively working on her relationship with companion Jackson. The suspect's companion, Giovanni Jackson, did speak to our cheaters producers. He says we're doing all right. She's with me now and always. You see, cheating is a crime. It really happened when nobody's watching and another heart is shattered. Now remember, if you don't get your programming from Goldstein's, well, we'll both lose money.